Now, speaking of course, tomorrow, you know, some time back, UPRS, they were like the big boys of the in charge of collecting royalties on the behalf of the musicians. At some point, they were moving, you know, to different hangout spots. I don't know whether they passed by Amnesia as well.
They have ever taken my equipment twice, thrice from Temptations and even Club Amnesia. They even came to the radio.
Wow.
To Galaxy and took my stuff. So I've actually never had a good relation. You know, I hate it when somebody's in a bad situation.
Yeah.
So I can't laugh at them, but I can't say I'm too sad. Yeah. But I hope he's forgiven.
Wasura has been suspended. If you can have the, you know, those pictures on the screen right now, Mr. Wasura, who has been like the CEO of the Uganda Performers' Rights Society, their operations were suspended. They are investigating basically. It's like they received so many complaints. You know, the company that is in charge of registering these that empowered them to collect money on the behalf of the artists. They've been receiving so many complaints from the musicians themselves and even those in the entertainment industry. That is the press release which was shared. That was yesterday. So it's like the artist actually recently launched an association, actually, which is known as the Uganda Musicians Association. The new team was, they were officially unveiled. That was like 3 months back. In one of the pictures that we shared on the screens, you get to see some of the representatives with the Speaker of Parliament, whatever, King Maikao. There is, you know, Waikiki Bender, who happens to be the Vice President of the association. Sophie Gombia is the President of the association. And those who are like the leaders of this association, one of them being Waikiki Bender, he took it to social media, showed excitement, and is like, this is a good step in the right direction. They are clamping on those who have been taking advantage of the industry. Those were some of the words we are hearing from the artists. Now, not all musicians were subscribing to this Uganda Performers' Rights Society, UPRS. And they had their issues that they were putting across. What do you think? Should we say?
They have always had issues, and the biggest problem here is the copyright law is not actually very strong. And a lot of artists haven't gone to school. Okay, they have gone to school, but not fine school.
Yeah.
And most of them don't have proper management. The guys they call managers are really guys who drive them around. They carry CDs, drive them around, be DJs, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So some of these contracts that they signed were actually outrageous. I mean, how do you sign a contract that you see, I have passed on all my rights, electronic, digital, audio, video, everything, to somebody that is not known to actually own a channel and whose royalties you don't know how you're going to be able to measure. It's weird. But then they don't want to seek, a lot of them don't want to be told anything. So, but now this is a positive step. I'm hoping that this becomes, you know, because if people can be able to earn money from music without having to step on stage, because here now to make any money from music, you really have to step on stage.
Sure.
And that's not sustainable because what about if you get sick? What about the guys who have died? Because somebody like, you know, Radio died last year and we don't want to be there, and his kids, he raises music because he still has projects coming and they can't get food, yet they have music that is being played everywhere.
Yeah.
And this guy would actually show up, take your equipment, bring kanyamas, and they plug things out, and they have no respect for equipment. You know, when you see this camera, you actually love it.
Yeah.
Because it's what feeds you. But the kanyamas have no respect for equipment.
Yeah.
They would come and, you know, enter bars, plug things, load them on the road, and to get it out, you'd actually pay them like 3 times what they would. Because bars would, the radios pay, I think, 2 million. Yeah. Clubs would pay around 1.5 million. And you can imagine how many clubs and bars are out there. And how much was collected.
Mr. Wasura had actually set up like a lifetime business venture, which was
Kabadeka
kwasoroleza akasente kenaye asaba gamba simanya abantu ambaine nakwa 40. They're trying to put their house to order.
Yeah, it comes finally.
Let's talk about your book, Innocent. You know, treating small businesses. I saw some of the pictures at the launch. I were there with fellow tycoons. I was seeing and the likes. Why are you basically talking about in this book?
This book, I of course cannot be able to explain everything in the book right here.
Yeah.
But it is essentially a book that is for everyone, especially the younger people.
Yeah.
To say that you might not be able to make the money that Mwana has made, or the money that Sudhir has made, or the money that Wavamuno has made. After all, that has taken them so many years. Wavamuno has been here since the 60s.
Yeah.
So by independence, he was actually present. So before even your mother and father thought about what to do, these guys were actually already working. But unfortunately, all of us are very impatient. We want to be able to make money in one single day, which is unfortunate. So the book is treating small business lessons from my operations. Essentially, what it does is it explains that there are so many opportunities out there. And everybody of us can actually start something small that is business. Really business, what I'm meaning is not that you must open a shop. But if you can do anything, either deliver a service or a good, and be able to benefit from it and make a profit out of it. If you can, some people know, some people play, say, a guitar in church.
Yeah.
So you play the guitar in church, but you know how to play a guitar. But then there are hundreds of parents out there who want to teach their kids how to play guitar. And they can play an arm and a leg. These days people want to pamper their kids, teach their kids how to play guitar. But you find somebody saying, I'm unemployed, I'm waiting for a gig in the bar. Yeah. But you have a whole day. How many schools can you actually walk in with your guitar and you train each kid at 10,000 shillings? How much would you have made in a day if you use 4 or 5 hours a day to train 4 or 5 kids at 10,000 shillings each one? You end up going home with around 100,000 shillings every single day. Yeah. How much would that be?
So basically in this book, you are opening people's eyes for them to broaden their minds on how best to treat small businesses.
And what I say is, and what is true, is that a lot of people here are not, it's not for lack of entrepreneurship. Everybody here wants to start a business. They actually go ahead and start a business. So Uganda is one of the leading countries for entrepreneurship. 80%, the world over, we're #1 in terms of starting businesses. Yeah. But most of them don't live to see their first birthday. So most of them never get that small song that they sing for them at Javas of happy birthday, happy birthday. So they never get to see that. Reason is because a lot of our businesses are dead or sick, about to die. So they'll die eventually. And so I want us to treat them. I want us to be able to turn around these businesses and treat them as serious businesses. Yeah. Because the majority of us who are doing a small business are actually looking at it as a side business. That's number one problem. We look at it as a side business. And we are starting it because somebody else is starting it or says it's nice. So a lot of people in the corporate world have started a poultry farm. Yeah. And all they want to do is go and take a good picture about it and tweet about it, that you see, I'm
into farming.
I'm into farming. Yeah. And they do, some of them cannot even touch a chicken. Never, they can't touch a chicken. So we do it without research, without planning. So we go in because the banks are willing to pay us. Once they put you on salary, the banks are willing to lend you money. But you're not ready. You don't know nothing about chicken. You have never reared a chicken. You have never visited a chicken farm. You have never even... So you want to start rearing chicken when you have not even sold a single egg.
I want to ask you a question, Innocent. Clubs are struggling.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
But I see Amnesia, the club that you started, you've kept pushing, and for the few nights I've been there, it's always a turn up, When you look at people in the radio world, they also, they tell you, man, things are tough here and there, At some point, SMS companies, there was a time when there were so many companies that had just started.
Yeah.
You'll find that so many have stopped operating.
Yes.
But your businesses continue going. What keeps you going? Despite the challenges.
Quickly, 2 things. One is for business to be sustainable, you must treat it as business, not an extension of your pocket. So that when you run out of money, then you feel you must take out from the business. And when the business runs out of money, you take out from your pocket, because then eventually you'll have a problem. Or you can't balance, you find the business owes you, you owe the business, you get confused, and you really have to close.
Yeah.
So it's not an extension of our pocket. And all these businesses, I've done them as partnerships. They have their challenges, partnerships. But when you have partners in your business, then you have to deal with other people. You are accountable to other people. When you are accountable to other people, you don't close at your whims. You don't just wake up and close.
Yeah.
You have to seek the consent of the other people. So as partnerships, I have two partners, Bobby and Pius. Very nice guys. But they hold me. I'm a very fast guy. When I get bored, I'm really bored and I want to move on. And they say, we need to move. Then we must be able to predict the direction. Every entrepreneur should be able to predict the direction of the business industry they are in. So we know, for example, where TV is going.
Yeah.
We know where radio is going. We know where clubs are going. For example, we know clubs are going out of town.
Yeah.
We have insisted for so much, like you say, it's still turning up, Amnesia is turning up. But unfortunately, this Thursday is going to be our last. That's news that nobody knew. This Thursday is actually a farewell party for Amnesia.
For Amnesia?
Yeah, we are closing it and also going to where these people actually be. Everybody's drinking out of town, so we're also moving out of town.
We'll see guys now opening bars.
So you must be able, nobody with Kawunyemu and, very posh bars opening anywhere. When we opened, there were like 2-3 clubs in this town. Now, after we opened and now change the direction, now every single location has a elite hangout.
Yeah.
So why would I move from very far to get caught by Kawunyemu, get knocked anywhere? So we have now to understand that the train is moving and we move. Yeah. For most people, they know that their horse is dead and they want to continue riding their dead horse.
Yeah.
So they change the name, then they say, let's get consultants in. Yeah. But the horse is dead. So it's not going to be alive again.
So you should actually even be able to tell, because sometimes when, like you said, when the horse is dead, we tend to live in denial. You keep riding something that is actually failing. It's
like you're riding a bicycle and then you have a flat tire.
Yeah.
And you think, okay, I'll try to smear the tire with Vaseline. Yeah. Maybe change this. Unless you change the flat tire, you can't move on. So we must be able to anticipate the direction of the business that we are in. We must be able to think of where is this business going. For SMS, for example, we knew SMS was dying, and we prepared. Yeah. So when we had over 100 SMS companies registered, we know them. Most of them have died. Yeah. But for us, we knew we had to move on. So we went into SMS promotions. Yeah. You probably have seen some of them for Pepsi and others. The most recent one being,
the game show.
The game show. Yeah. And we went into betting.
Yeah.
So Kagwira is part of Blue Cube. Yeah. So we anticipated that the business is going to change. Yeah. And we used the platform, the infrastructure, to be able to do other business. So we should be able to know where the direction of our business is going. So if it is a saloon, you need to know where is it going. If it's riding a motorcycle, boda, you need to know where it's going, because now everybody's registering and starting, an app. Yeah. So if you insist that for me, I'm going to keep riding my bike and maybe add a radio, then add an umbrella, but you don't realize that it's actually moving towards apps. Yeah. You will be left alone in your desert.
You crash.
Yeah, you crash.
All right. Now, you're one of the very few young entrepreneurs that I've interviewed that openly says that you've worked with partners, you identified partners.
Yes.
Many times, many people who share their stories of grass to grace, they will tell you, I started with 2 million shillings and then my investment is worth 2 billion. Now, they never explain how they were able to move from, let's say, from 2 million to 500 to 4 billion. They don't explain that bit.
Yes.
That is why I need to give it up to you that you actually talked of the issue of identifying partners. The question which I'm going to is, how do you identify the right partner? Because there's so many people out there with lots of ideas, proposals, but then someone is wondering, how do I find the right person to work with?
First of all, this is not a grass to grace story.
Yeah.
Because I'm still grassing. And this is the difference between this story and maybe the other stories you have seen. This is not a grass a grass to grace story.
Yeah.
This is a story of a struggle, because most of us are really struggling. Maybe you're at work and you can start a poultry farm.
Yeah.
Maybe you're at work and you can start a barber shop. And strangely, those barbers actually make more money than some of the bank managers we have.
Yeah.
The Lorax guy that you know actually makes more money than probably the bank teller that keeps this money.
Wow.
Because, I mean, from 1 liter of fuel,
Yeah.
a border man moves between 55 for a boxer to 70 kilometers on 1 liter. Now, the distance between most of these trips is 3 kilometers, 4 kilometers. So how many trips does he make on 4,000 of fuel? So these guys have abnormal profits.
Yeah.
They are these opportunities exist. So if all of us actually stood out there, because that's the story I'm sharing, it's actually even a story of failures. There are so many failures that I share. You know, there's the pharmacy business and some IT businesses that have started and actually failed, and I write about them in the book. And I'm not saying that I'm here. No, I'm only saying that as we struggle, through my struggles of 17 or 15 years of running small business across the platforms, you know, clinics, pharmacies, import business, media, entertainment. I think managing artists, you know, I used to manage Priscilla Karibara. I have attempted to, you know, Naira Ali. I have at one time, you
Mina
know,
Iza.
Mina Iza. So through all that, there are some things I have learned. There are some failures I have experienced. And through this, I have been able to know that, yes, here, you can actually go wrong. I do not want you who is starting or you who is running a small business to actually go through the same mistakes I have made. And it's good for us to learn from mistakes. Mistakes are good to teach you.
True.
But it's good to learn from mistakes of others. And that's why I honestly share these things. I don't have money to give away. I don't have an inheritance to give to people. But because I don't have that, at least I have some knowledge. I don't want to go to the grave with the experience I have gathered. So I share it in the book.
All right, 2 final questions before we wrap up, because we left with just 30 minutes to wrap up this. There's so many young corporates out there that are comfortable with that their 1 million or 2 million that they're receiving at the end of every month.
Yes.
Many of them have this fear of starting out. Some get comfortable because they have contracts of, let's say, 10 years,
Yes.
7 years in a company that is actually even not yours.
Yes.
But there is this fear of, how do I step out?
Yes.
You look at a scenario of someone that earns, let's say, 2 million at most.
Yes.
They are renting an apartment of 1 million or
Yes.
1.5.
Yes.
I've seen people that are living large.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, someone is saving maybe 200K or 100.
Yes.
What advice do you have to that young corporate that is watching us right now, that is comfortable with their 2 million or 3 million?
We cannot live the same lives. For some people, that's really their happiness, and we are all in the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah.
So for some people, that's the best that has happened to them, and they need to actually stay there. But we need to appreciate that the less the risk, the less the returns. So we might choose to keep in our comfort, but we need to ask ourselves, can we be able to get our kids? Because if you get old, are you going to be able to get your kids, to bring them to where you work and show them? Because when we were young, our parents showed us how to milk cows.
Yeah.
So there's something we learned from our kids, from our fathers. What will you be able to show your kids? That you take them to your desk and show them that they actually work hard? No. So the jobs we are doing are not stuff we can actually go and show our kids and try to mentor them and nurture them. So we end up having to make them be besat by, you know, TVs and cartoons, and they end up looking like cartoons and talking like cartoons. So first of all, we don't have an inheritance at work to be able to pass on to the kids, and that's one problem. So I honestly believe, some of them say it's too hard, it's too comfortable. But there's nothing that has ever changed when somebody's in their comfort zone. We need to create a difference between where we are and where we want to be. That difference is what drives us, that difference is what motivates us. So we need to be able to create a difference between where we are and where we want to be. And that comes from setting higher targets, from setting bigger goals. Because when you aim for the floor, you definitely hit the floor. But if you aim for the roof, maybe you'll hit the window, but at least you'll have hit somewhere higher than the ground. So if we have higher targets, we can be able to do that. And here is the funny truth, that most of the businesses and companies we work for started as small companies, and they can be scalable. The job you have has a finite time and where you can actually grow. But the business you can start can actually be everything. Some people start it as side business, and eventually the side business is making more money than
the main business.
Than their main business.
Yeah.
So you look at it and you're like, okay, how can I be able to, start this? Apple, which we look at, the one that makes the iPhones that girls love so much, was started in a garage by some guy who wanted a school dropout, who could only make calculators.
Yeah.
Facebook, you are in a dorm and you really want to engage with friends, and then you find a way to actually engage with them, and then eventually we have a company so big, its monthly returns can actually finance us for 10 years.
Wow.
So you ask yourself, what is that one thing you live in this world? What's that one thing that can be bigger than you? Because we need to have such a big dreams to be able to think of creating something that can be bigger than ourselves. And this can be from anything. All around us are opportunities. So instead of us walking, and when we are driving towards town, we need to look around and say, sometimes we are looking at, that chick is hot, man, that chick has a big ass.
Yeah.
And that's what we are looking at. But then when you ask yourself and you say, some other people are saying, that can be a good shop. That shop can actually be a good salon. That dress that person is putting on, if I made 10 of them, I would actually sell them to my friends. That can be a good venue for parties. So there are opportunities around us. The challenge is we walk around blind, not that we are not seeing, but blind to opportunities around us.
Yeah.
If we look around us, there's so many opportunities that can actually turn our lives and turn the lives of the neighbor and the other neighbor.
All right,
so
the last question as we wrap up the show, how can someone get this book? How much does it go for in 1 minute?
The book is actually available. I have tried to as much as possible. This is one of the books that has sold the most in this country for all the years I have known, and I have been reading a lot of books.
Yeah.
And the reason why is, of course, I'm a marketeer, so that's easy. So they are as close to you as possible.
Yeah.
They are at the Aristoc Bookshop,
Okay.
Mukono Bookshop,
Yeah.
Book Point at the Village Mall. Most of the supermarkets have the books. Jumia, if you open Jumia, the website, and you type Innocent Nahabwe, the book will come up and they'll deliver to you.
That's good to know.
And Amazon, for the guys who are out of here,
Yeah.
you can actually get the book on Amazon. So it's written everywhere, and we actually deliver. So when you inbox, we deliver the book.
All right, all right. Yeah. That was Innocent, man. Thank you so much for coming
It's
around.
my pleasure.
I wish
Thanks
you even
for
had
having
more
me.
hours, man.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
A lot of enriching knowledge, and I'm sure you're able to pick 1 or 2 pointers on how you can better yourself, how you can treat that small business that you're planning on doing or that you are running. Guys, we've come to the end of the show. Let's link up tomorrow same time, that is 6 to 7 p.m. Coming on next, amawulire go Uganda ne divorce kizito. Lero divorce mulabe ayambadde kanzo manyi lero gabadde mazaalibwa ga Ssaabasajja Kabaka wa Buganda. Awangale magulu nyodo chuchu. So guys, have a beautiful evening. Peace and love out of here. Thank you so much for coming.